Hello and Ashe. I'm sorry for my frumpy look today. It's very hot in Tiberias, Israel. And how hot is it? I can't even translate it to Fahrenheit, but because we use Celsius system. But in Haifa, it was like 95% humidity the other day, and it's hot. It's really hot. It's like unsurvivable even at night. Like, if you sleep without an air conditioner here during the night, you will be cooked like a soft boiled egg. So, well, lately I've bought quite a lot of books. And I got some from Amazon, I got some from Better World Books, I got some from thrift books, I got some from the book depository. I basically gained an entire bookshelf of witchy books, and I would have loved to show those to you and tell you why I bought each and every one. Okay, so I start with my Amazon books. And I try not to buy so much from Amazon lately, not just because it's expensive, but also because really I really like used books. I really like used books, and in Israel there is a very little chance of me of going into a book thrift shop or whatever and find anything about witchcraft. Even if that bookstore is like an English bookstore, they just don't keep that stuff, and there are very few books about witchcraft in Hebrew. So, for me, getting like used books, I have to use the internet, and I have to take on myself the shipping costs. And believe me, you Americans and British people, or whatever English country speakers that you are in, you get it cheap. I get it very pricey, and when I get stuff from abroad, I have to wait between 2 weeks to months to get those if the package doesn't get lost in the post office. Okay, so I'll start with Amazon. I got this one. This is Melanie Marquise's The Witch's Bag of Tricks. Personalize your magic and kickstart your craft. Several people, first of all, intuitively this book called to me, and several people on YouTube told me that, recommended it, so I thought, what the heck, I should get it and I should read it. And I haven't started reading it yet, but it looks to be promising. Another one that I got, and also from Amazon, I usually buy the books that are just out. Meaning, like, I'm not going to find those books like second hand because they are new. And also, I like to be not ahead. I like to be like informed about how the neo-pagan mind shifts and changes. And I got this, the Laurie Cabot book of spells and enchantments by Laurie Cabot with Penny Cabot and Christopher Benzak. Now, those of you who didn't know, Christopher Benzak, alongside with Cunningham, Scott Cunningham, and Raven Grimaces were Laurie's students, and they were and all of those are very prolific, very fertile writers, and she is in a way the American mother of witchcraft. She really lives that style. You have to have respect for anyone who tattoos her own face, okay, in a way that she says, I'm not going to join the Cowens, I'm not going to join the muggles out there, I'm going to live my own special witchy life. And even if the spells in this book are not good or not new or doesn't contain any prospect ideas or any shine to them, I think this book is recommended to all of the American witches out there as a heirloom book. because she's basically, you know, I don't know if she's such a great witch herself, even though I really liked her The Power of the Witch book. Power of the Witch book is highly recommended. The meditation there, the crystal count meditation, then copied several places, including Christopher Pinzak's books, is amazing. Okay, and I'm waiting to read this. I'm waiting to enjoy this very much. So this is highly recommended, even before I've read it. But I will do a complete book review about this one. I can promise you that. Okay, Cunningham's Encyclopedia in the Kitchen, Wicca in the Kitchen. I got a couple of Cunningham books that I didn't have. I have a feeling that this would be better than other texts that he wrote, because look, when you cook something, most of the time you don't want to hex anybody. Most of the time food is a positive thing. So in the positive concept of Scott Cunningham stuff, I think this should be very good. But as always, Scott Cunningham sadly died, and his texts are, you know, somewhat outdated. But I'm taking this into account once I got this book. Okay, I got Christopher Pinzak's Instant Magic. And I really want to see, you know, we live in a very busy world right now. We are living in a world where we can't just stop, cast a circle, call the elements. You know, we might give observances to the deities every day in a ritual place, but we don't have the time to see. Okay, we must have the time, but unless we are professional witches, we must have magic in our fingertips. Now, as I mentioned before, Laurie Cabot's Power of the Witch book, which I highly recommend, is already about programming the psyche and having like specific movements that allowed several shifts of magic to do. For instance, you know, she teaches you how to get into alpha immediately by programming yourself, by doing a specific movements of your fingers. I use that to do other stuff as well, like instantly cast a circle in the time where circles were more important to me in my practice. So she's like, you know, she gave her mind into instant magic, and I really want to know what her pupil did with that. I want to see how this idea matured and propagated. So I will see how this is doing. I bet I will also give you a book review if one has not already been done on YouTube. And of course, I got this, the Cunningham Book of Shadows. Book reviews about this one were kind of bad because it says it's basically repeating stuff already printed elsewhere. But I also read that there is a hex in it. That he did a hex for anybody reading or touching his Book of Shadows. And you know, putting Scott Cunningham and hexing in the same sentences without something that says not hexing is kind of a rare thing. I want to see if this book actually breaks the worldview of himself as like an Art Nouveau witch that wants to lead the world into a better place. If he uses hexes for his own benefit, then all of his moral outbreaks in his own texts are invalidated. So this book was totally worth it. For me, I'm not sure it's like totally worth it for you, unless you are like a Cunningham feel or whatnot. Llewellyn Complete Formulary of Magical Oils. Look at how thick this book is. Oils are very important for witchcraft because not only oils are preservative, but oils are also basically a form of liquid energy. And the way we prepare oils is the way that we are going to receive energy from it. I really want to read this one. It claims to have 1,200 easy to follow recipes for spells, rituals, and remedies of all sorts. I will book review that. Deborah Lip, The Way of Fall Spellbook, Working Magic with the Elements. Now, for many years, the big elemental magic books belonged to Scott Cunningham, with his earth, air, fire, and water. And they were good enough, so-called, up to the point that nobody else took the challenge to actually make spell books that would deal with, the elements in any magical way. Deborah Lip is, she's still alive, as far as I know, is a very new, valiant voice in the whole spellcraft scene. And I have read The Study of Witchcraft by her, and I loved it. So I want to see what she suggests in a more practical way. So this is what I'm going to read. And I bet people already reviewed that, so I always look at book reviews on YouTube and see if this needs to be reviewed again. Okay, next one. The Art of Glamour has a mission. This book actually got a very low mark on Amazon, but I really want to read it, and I will read it. And I also saw a recommendation of it somewhere in some personal website, maybe a website of one of the authors. Okay, by Deborah Castellano. And I would very much like to see if it's good. I really like illusionary magic. I have a knack to it. I can do it without all the props. I can do it, just by intoning of it, and I would really like to see what other people have to say about this. That is more than just Eden McCoy talking about this in her book Advanced Witchcraft. Patrinella Cooper, Gypsy Magic, a Romani book of spells, charms, and fortune telling. This one I got just because. I like to study other people's witchcraft. I like to see other systems. I like to see how other people's system works. I like to get folk magic incorporated into my craft. So this was a gamble. I really want to see if it's a good gamble or not. I will tell you in the future. Okay, the last one from Amazon is Irish Witchcraft or the Irish Witch, and this has been in my wish list forever. Okay, my wish list on Amazon have seen rapid changes, things getting on it, things getting off it. The more I explore, the more I decide that certain streams of magic are not for me, and thus those books are being removed from my wish list, and more things are being added to my wish list from the sort of magic that does interest me, and this has been there forever. Now, I browsed through it, and through my browsing I didn't see any spells. And maybe this is more about lore than about spells, so I don't know. But the lack of recipes worries me. I can just tell you that about this book. So if you have read this and you're feeling this is a waste of time or this is a very good book, tell me in the comments below, please. People are watching my channel, not a lot of people. I have 80 subscribers. But I would really like to know your opinions about my book selections. Do you like it? Do you like it more? Do you like it less? Why? I would like to have a discussion with you about this. Okay, so the rest of my books are from either used bookshops, all other stuff. Okay, now this is one of the things that I'm very happy about. Okay, this is inside West Africa's witch camps, Spellbound by Karen Palmer. Now, most of my neo-pagan viewers would not know about this, but recently African witchcraft has become a big thing in academic studies. it became a thing because the people start seeing that witchcraft basically is something that you can it's because African witchcraft has a very big place in like in society and sociology and culture of certain lands and cultural places in Africa. And what happens in some of those countries is that the witches, as an unwanted element, are being gathered in refugee camps called witch camps. Yes, reclaiming you did not invent the witch camp. And those people living in those witch camps are basically stuck there for good. What happens once a non-religious government gets inside, starts controlling the country, and those witch camps are to be disassimilated and the witches are back in society? Some, how those witches are to be killed, what are the places in society, and this is a very good anecdote-rich account of how witchcraft pervades culture of stress-ridden region of Africa, caught between ancient tradition and modernism, full of gritty details and memorable characters. And women rights, modern medicine, and traditional beliefs collide provocably in Spellbound, which takes the reader into a world not only where witchcraft is alive and well, but where possibility that women can be manipulated and controlled by the spiritual realm for good or evil is all too chillingly real. Now, most modern witches don't know, but for instance, in places like Tanzania, albino people, meaning people who are born with a defect in which they cannot make melanin, are being harvested for organs in order to fuel some spells. There are some countries in Africa that are basically magocracies, okay? And as somebody that is learning voodoo and traditional witchcraft, for me, knowing what is happening to my brothers and sister witches in Africa, whether they are practicing the most darkest of arts, or maybe if they are like traditional healers that have like contact with the spirit world, for me this is important. So I got 2 of those, and they cost me absolutely nothing. One of them I'm going to give to my teacher, Sheloya. So it's going to be very interesting. Helping yourself with white witchcraft. This is an old 70 book by L.G. Manning, and I've heard about this for ages, and browsing through it looked very interesting. Okay, it's very interesting book, and I heard good things about this, but I think why I picked it up was also because I serve my community through witchcraft, and if I can help myself with witchcraft, I can help other people with witchcraft, and I like the view of witchcraft as a service to the people. This is my view as well. So I got this. This also cost me almost nothing in comparison, and I would very much like to see how this works out and what I can take from it to my practice. Okay, this was maybe one of the most expensive books I got as of late. Magic Without Tears by Aleister Crowley. Sorry. Now, most of you know that I'm not very much into the ritual magic thing. And I'm not really into Aurelion witchcraft, I'm not into Thelema, but other people around me are, and I would like to read this book so I could discuss things in their own level, okay? And also, I think I've been told that this is a very good gateway drug for Cunningham, so, sorry, for Aleister Crowley, okay? So I will read this, and I will see, and I will tell you, modern witches, modern practitioner witches, if this book is worth your time, really. But this book is rare, it's out of print, okay? You can get it in PDF, but I'm not a PDF person, so sorry. I'm gonna read this like this. Merlin's Book of Magic and Enchantment. I've already read this one, it's shit. I will tell you why in a different video. Don't get it. Okay. Those 2 books has been recommended by Vicious Lady. This one I've managed to procure rather easily. Okay, the Spellbound, From Ancient Gods to Modern Merlins, a time tool for myth and magic. I really like encyclopedic books like that. I'm going to read it in my own leisure. I'm a big encyclopedia reader, so I will enjoy this one. And also the complete book of incense. Look for those two. Look for book reviews of those two by Vicious Lady. Okay, she will show you what's inside of the book, and I got them because of her. So thank you, Vicious Lady. You have great book recommendations. And the last one I got is the Encyclopedia of Vampires, Werewolf and Other Monsters by Rosemary Ellen Cooley. That, you know, I had her, I still have her Encyclopedia of Magic and Witchcraft. I'm really interested to see how this one is going to go, and I love this because it's hardcover. But, like, you know, it doesn't have much pictures, and what it has is in black and white, which is a minus. And this is too as an ex libris book. Okay, I hope you enjoyed my big witchy haul, my big book witchy haul. Have a pleasant day, and goodbye.